It's so easy to go into conscious and unconscious and split the chart up. And there will never be a time when your chart is going to be split into conscious and unconscious, ever. And ultimately, those two are designed to work in conjunction with each other. It's funny, I was literally just writing about this before I got on the call. You are a compilation of your conscious and unconscious. And I really think part of what we have to let go of is we have to stop using the term conscious and unconscious, because it's a term that doesn't make sense in the context of what that actually means. So your conscious design is your soul. It's your soul code. That's what your soul came here to learn. Your unconscious is your body code and your life purpose code, your physical story that you're living in right now. You can't be one without the other. You will always have a soul code and a life code. They're integrated. They are oftentimes at odds with each other. There's really never any part of yourself that you're unconscious of. I will say that I learned from Ra, and Ra used to teach, you become more aware of your unconscious around the age of 40. I don't find that to be true anymore. I don't teach it that way anymore. That you are always working with both sides of this story. And you have the potential to be unconscious or conscious of all the sides of the story. I can tell you, I've seen people with conscious definition, and they can be completely unconscious of how they are and who they are and how they're impacting people. So I think we have to let those words go, because I think we have so many meanings around those two words, and they're really charged. And they don't have anything to do with psychology and id and ego and Freud and Jung and all of that stuff. Just let's let it go. You will always have access to both parts of those charts. And I always tell my students, don't even pull them apart. Don't pull them apart and look at the numbers, because because you want to look at what numbers might be at odds with the other numbers, because that's pretty normal. Every chart will have at least one really core aspect in it that seemingly is at odds with itself. Like you will have something in your soul design that will be at odds with your life purpose design. And that's intentional. We're kind of designed to bump up against ourselves as part of our growth process. Really, if you think about it, we are always the source of our own challenge in any kind of story that we tell about our life, right? If you're really honest. You don't always have to be that honest. Sometimes you can lie to yourself if you want to, but usually it's all on you if you're really honest. And so we have to learn through our life story and through our adventures how to make peace with these parts of ourselves. And it's in that making peace that we become mature. We have to be able to look at our conundrums and to be like, I am a person who is deeply responsible and driven by guilt, right? And very obligated and loves to have responsibilities, even though I feel guilty about half of them, right? We have to be able to look at that part of ourselves and just go, I'm so cute, right? I'm so cute. And to not be like, man, I got to get over this and what's wrong with me and blah, 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 and then we get into all this stuff. That so much of what human design does for us is it allows us to look at these quirky at odds parts of ourselves and go, wow, check it out. You like mid-century modern furniture and Victorian furniture. Isn't that amazing, right? I like what Teresa wrote. Teresa, that's a good awareness. Teresa wrote, I can look at all of my unconscious parts and see that they are all things I always felt was true about myself, even though I may not have always had the words to describe it. That's a good way to describe your unconscious. But I also think, depending on where your conscious definition is, sometimes that can even be true about your conscious, especially if it's up in your head and not connected to your throat, or if you have an open G center. I do find that or if you're a fifth line profile, I find that sometimes the fifth line can really have a hard time being self-aware, because the projections are so intense that you really have to back out of everything to get back reconnected with the self.